Hi Derek, I've got a question for Dr. Price, so here it goes. From my limited exposure to spiritual traditions outside of Christianity, the concept of non-dualism seems to pop up in many places, particularly in Eastern traditions. When I consider if and where this might appear in the Bible, I come back to Genesis. There seem to be many interpretations of what the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil could represent. To my way of thinking, this could well be non-dualism hiding in plain sight. What do you think, Dr. Bob? Jared D. Lockwood.
I don't tend to see it that way, mainly because I'm attracted by a rival hypothesis as to what the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was. What you say is not out of the question, because the knowledge of good and evil apparently is a hendiatus, a figure of speech just indicating the whole range, like when we say from A to Z, or I am the Alpha and the Omega, for instance, the Greek A to Z. And so knowledge of everything, and when they eat of it and partake of that knowledge, their eyes are opened and they become like God or like gods. That's similar to the idea of God realization. So I respect that view, but given the similarity to the Gilgamesh epic and what then ensues in the narrative, I think it means carnal knowledge, and that the point was that God, who only wanted the Adam, the human being to begin with, to tend the garden that he and his fellow deities ate from. We're not talking about Thomas Aquinas or Karl Barth here. We're talking about ancient mythology with humanoid deities. That it seems to me that's what God is worried about. He only created the Ish from the Isha, or the Isha from the Ish, the woman from the man, in order to give the Adam companionship. He first, to show that he wasn't interested in having him multiply and fill the earth, as the priestly creation account in chapter 1 says, he created the animals first to see if they would be fit companions for the man. Do you think it means he wanted Adam to be committing bestiality? Of course not. The point is, it's like Tarzan in the jungle with the cheetah and all the animals and so forth. But that wouldn't work because presumably they couldn't speak, I'm guessing. But he could, because he named them all. Right? So it turns out, and so God keeps experimenting, like Geppetto, creating these things from the clay of the ground, and none of them work, really, but that's where the animals come from. So what's he going to do next? He says, well, everything I make out of the ground is different. Maybe if I made something out of him, it'll be more the same. And so he takes his Adam's rib, or he splits him down the middle, as some of the ancient rabbis thought. And now there's a female. He doesn't tell him, get busy multiplying and fill the earth. It just says, well, this is why the man leaves his family, and this is the origin of that. But God does not intend that, because once the serpent tells him, hey, God is putting you on. You're not going to drop dead if you eat of that fruit. We won't? No, I'll tell you what will happen, though. Your eyes will be opened, and you'll be like gods, knowing good and evil. So the woman, when she sees that it is good for food, which contradicts what she had thought, that God told him it was poison and it would kill them, right? And it was desirable to make one wise. She took some and gave some to her husband. They ate, their eyes were open. And then what happens? God comes down for his evening constitutional with them, and where is everybody? And they're hiding in the bushes, and the man says, over here, and he said, why are you hiding? Well, because we're naked. Oh, who told you you were naked? Because it wouldn't have mattered to them like animals running around. I said, the woman, she beguiled me and gave me of the fruit, and that's when I found out. He says, what have you done? The snake. It was the snake's idea. And he says, okay, I'm handing out the punishments now. And notice that the punishment of the woman is she's going to have pain in childbirth, and she might decide just to lock the bedroom door against her husband, but no, your desire will be for him and he will rule over you. So you did it, sister. You would have been equal to him, but now domestic servitude, and your husband, like Ralph Cramden, Alice, I'm king of the castle. No, Trixie, you can't go to the movies tonight, not for any particular reason, just because I, the king of the castle, said so. Why are men like this? Well, it's the punishment of the woman. And the snake, who's a Prometheus figure, he is reduced. He was a seraph. He must have been a winged serpent, but not anymore. His wings are clipped, and he's going to, because snakes must hate crawling on the ground. I hate it. So they explain a lot of stuff. It's a creation story. So I think that that's what it's about. God doesn't want procreation, because there's two is enough for what he wanted them for. He wouldn't have to replace them, because he said you can have access to the tree of life, which is what God and the other gods, he says, they have become like one of us. That's how they survive. Like the Greek gods had nectar and ambrosia. This is what keeps the gods immortal. But they could have done that. He didn't want to have to replace them. But now, if they can have personal immortality and procreate a bunch of others, the whole darn planet's going to be overrun with gods. Get them out of here. And that makes so much sense to me because of the Gilgamesh epic, where this man created from the ground Enkidu by the goddess Oruru to challenge Gilgamesh. He knows nothing. He's living in the wilderness like Tarzan and gets along with the animals real well. She wants to humanize him and sends one of her sacred prostitutes to initiate him into sexuality. And so for a week they go at it. And at the end, he says, I feel like I'm getting a drink. Let's go to the watering hole. And suddenly, when they see him, the animals bolt away. And he says, what the heck? That is my breath. He says, she says to him, behold, Enkidu, you are become wise like unto a god. It's the same thing, right? And it's sex that does it, and so forth. And he's obviously an Adam figure, Enkidu. It's part of the same mythic sphere of the culture. So I think that's what's going on. However, I do see an interesting hint of non-dualism. Over in 1 Corinthians 13, Mao we see in a mirror dimly, but because they had crummy metal mirrors, but then face to face, we shall know as we are known. Whose face do you see in a mirror? Your own. Is he saying that the difference between God and individuals will finally be overcome? Like Teilhard de Chardin said, the second coming of Christ will be the omega point of evolution when we share in a planetary consciousness. I don't know, and that's not much to go on, but I have to admit that kind of hints to me that you're dealing with some sort of non-dualism in the Bible.